For years, Vesper Relay was just this destroyed place on the star chart. You could see it, you knew something happened there, but you couldn't really go into it or do anything with it. It was basically just this broken relay sitting there as a piece of old Warframe history. And honestly, I think it's really cool that DE finally gave it a purpose again. Instead of leaving it as dead content, they turned it into a new mission, added this creepy ink painting theme to it, and made it a place where you farm Follie. So welcome back to WRPE, the Warframe returning player experience. This is technically the episode 2, but the first video was more of an intro, so this is the first real episode. And today we're farming Follie. No, I'm not going to review Follie in this video because while I'm recording this, she's literally still crafting in my foundry. I will make a video explaining her when I actually level her up and learn her. What I can talk about is the farm, because yesterday I spent around 8 hours farming Atramentum, trying to get Follie and also trying to buy basically everything Aspirant Zorba sells, because his shop actually looks really cool. So this guide I wish I had before starting. How to unlock the mission, how the drops work, how Atramentum is used and what Zorba sells, and the actual farming tips that made the mission way better for me. To unlock Follie's Hunt, you need to complete Chains of Harrow. After that, you unlock the Follie's Hunt mission on Venus at the Vesper Relay node. The important thing, Vesper Relay is not a normal relay where you walk in and talk to NPCs. Vesper Relay node is the actual mission. The vendor is Aspirant Zorba, and he's in normal relays, standing outside the Arbiter of Hexis room. You can also fast travel to him from the relays menu. The basic farm loop is simple. Run Follie's Hunt, get Follie part at the reward table. Collect Atramentum, then spend Atramentum at Zorba for whatever parts or rewards you still need. Now let's talk about the drops first, because this part you actually need to understand before the farm makes sense. Follie needs 4 blueprints. The main blueprint, Neuroptics, Systems and Chases, the classic. On normal mode, each Follie part has 5% drop chance, so that's 5% for each part. On the Steel Path version, each part has 6% drop chance, so yes, Steel Path is better, but it's only 1% more per part. I personally haven't tried Steel Path version, but if there is a veteran here who can give advice in the chat to us newbies and returning players, please do. The mission also drops Enkhaus parts, because Enkhaus is Follie's signature weapon. Those parts also come from the same mission reward table, and they're also 5%. Atramentum is the important currency here. On normal mode, the mission gives 15 Atramentum from the reward table. On Steel Path, it gives 25. You can also get extra Atramentum from enemies and from Atramentum balloons inside the mission. Normal balloons drop 2 to 4 Atramentum, Steel Path balloons drop 3 to 6, and if you see those balloons, shoot them. Those are easy to miss because the mission is quite dark and messy, but they matter a lot if you buy Zorba's reward, so I think you should get some animal instinct or something like that and keep the map open at all times. Also, if you don't get one of the required parts or more for Follie or the weapon, you can buy them at any relay except for this relay, of course, and the blueprint, the main blueprint, costs 1200 Atramentum and 400 is each other part, so Neuroptic, Systems and Chases. And that's why I kept farming even after I could build Follie. I wanted a Warframe obviously, but I also wanted more Atramentum because Zorba shops looks really cool and I kinda wanted everything there. Now that you understand the drops, here is what happened to me. I farmed for around 8 hours, I got 4 Neuroptics, I got the main blueprint, I got Systems, I got the full weapon as well, but I did not get Chases. So eventually I just bought Chases from Zorba with Atramentum, and knowing Warframe, I will probably get Chases as a drop next time I play. So this is why I would recommend farming natural at first, play the mission, collect Atramentum and see what that drops. Because the chances are low, but every run gives you progress anyway. Then, once you're only missing one part or since you're just tired, buy the missing part from Zorba. Also, duplicate Follie parts, do not refund Atramentum. No, it sucks. If you get 4 Neuroptics like I did, you just have 4 Neuroptics. You can sell them for credits, but they do not turn back into currency. If you get a reward literally called Medallion, that is not a Follie item, that is a Syndicate Medallion, you can turn it in for standing. It's not used to craft Follie and it's not Atramentum. Now the mission itself. The goal is to complete 3 shadow graphs. Basically there are 3 canvases around the destroyed relay and you need to fill them with paint. First you find the canvases. In my runs most of the time 2 were on the upper floor, 1 was somewhere lower down. Then you find paint pools. When you get close to paint, it makes a sound and gets marked. Once you step into it, the game puts you into Operator or Drifter and covers you in paint. While carrying paint, you cannot void sling, but you can roll. And yes, it looks stupid, but rolling as your Operator while carrying paint is actually quite useful. You move a bit faster, and sometimes that is enough to get back to the canvas without wasting too much time. Once you reach a shadow graph, you just stand near it and it drains the paint into the canvas. Repeat that after all 3 canvases are done, and then extract. That's the simple version. Find canvas, find paint, deliver paint, repeat. The mission gets more annoying as it goes on. The map fills with Follie copies, red circles, balloon mines, ink walls, floor hazards, enemies, and a lot of random visual garbage. Don't just run around scared. A lot of this stuff can be killed or cleared very easily. Follie can be killed, the Follie spawns can be killed, the red circles can be killed. The floor garbage, the balloons, the things that blocking doors, shoot them, clear the path. This made the mission way better for me. At first I was just running around trying to avoid everything, but once I started actually clearing the red stuff on the floor and shooting the hazards, farm felt way smoother. And sometimes it's even easier to deal with an operator. You pop out, shoot what you need to shoot, clear the area and keep moving. That's why I recommend bringing a weapon that hits a lot of things quickly. Something like Ignis Wraith is perfect for this kind of mission, not because it's the strongest weapon in the game, because it isn't, because it constantly sprays damage, clears small targets, pops balloons, removes floor garbage, and makes the mission less annoying. So for weapons I would recommend AoE, beam, multi-shot coverage weapons like Ignis Wraith, Kua Nukor, Tenet Cyclone, Cedo, Tenet Arca Plasmor, Torrid Incarnate, Burston Incarnate, anything that clears a lot of small things fast. You don't need some insane single target boss kill here, you just need something comfortable that clears enemies, hazards, balloons and red nonsense while you keep moving. Now my biggest recommendations is play with other people, don't solo it. You can. If you're fast and tanky or both, you can finish it solo, but I recommend public squads. I tried solo, it works, but it felt worse. There are fewer enemies, which also means fewer chances for extra momentum from enemies. You also have to do everything yourself. Find paint, deliver paint, clear enemies, clear hazards, pop balloons, protect canvases, deal with Follie. It's just more annoying. In a squad, mission becomes much smoother. Oh yes, of course, you need more paint to get to the canvases, but more people are there. One person can clear the paint, one person can deliver paint, one can pop momentum balloons, one can defend the canvas, and even if nobody is talking, just having other people on the map makes the farm feel faster and less painful. I tried doing this solo with Necros, it was garbage. Maybe someone has a good Necro setup, but mine was not it. I died so much that it actually failed the mission. So this is where I would put the failed run footage. This wasn't a guide moment, this was the character development. Another tip, don't instantly finish one canvas if you can avoid it. The mission gets harder as canvases are completed. So what felt better for me was filling all 3 canvases almost to the end first. Then finish all 3 near the end. So like you need 1 paint to finish each one, so leave them at that, and then after all 3 are 1 paint from the finish, then you can finish them all, if you get what I mean. That way you delay the most annoying part of the mission until the end, instead of making the whole run harder for everybody. In public squads, this won't always happen because random players will just finish whatever is in front of them. That's fine. If you're playing with friends in your squad understands the mission, try filling all 3 close to the end first, it felt way smoother. For finding paint, the intended way is to kill enemies and follow the yellow trail. That trail leads you to paint pools. At the start it helps a lot, but after a few runs I honestly barely followed it. Once you learn the map, you start recognizing where paint can spawn. For me, the common paint area was on the upper floor above the main relay room, basically above the place where Barocketeer usually stands in normal relays. After a few runs, you stop being completely lost. You start checking the same areas, listening for the paint sound and moving through the map faster. A loot radar helps a lot here. Use Animal Instinct or Prime Animal Instinct on your companion. Keep your bigger overlay map open if you can play like that. The mission is dark, the floor is messy, and there are effects everywhere, and the tormentum balloons are easy to miss. Loot Radar helps you see a lot of pickups and makes the farm less annoying. For companions, I care more about Loot Radar and pickup comfort than Smith Charm here. Charm doesn't increase your Follie blueprint drop chances because the blueprints are end of mission rewards, so I would rather use Animal Instinct, Prime Animal Instinct, Fetch, Vacuum, things that can help actually moving through the mission and collecting stuff. Now for the frame. For me, Titania was by far the best. I'm sure there are stronger, more optimized setups somewhere, but this is WRPE. I'm thinking like a returning player. Most of us are not sitting on perfect builds for every new mission. Titania worked for me because she flies, moves fast, avoids a lot of floor nonsense, dodges red circles more easily and moves better between floors and rooms without making mission painful. This farm is about movement, clearing hazards, finding paint and not wasting time. Titania makes that way smoother. Wukong is also good because Cloud Walker is great for movement and survival. Volt and Gauss are good if you just want speed, and Revenant and Neja are good if you are dying and want a safer run. But personally, Titania was the best for me. For the resource booster, I personally took a 7-day booster, not because it increases Follie blueprint drop chance, it doesn't, but because I knew I was going to farm Artamentum for hours, I wanted Zorba's rewards, and I was going to play Warframe a lot over the next week anyway, so for me it made sense. If you're only doing this for a few runs, maybe don't waste platinum, but if you know that you're gonna farm Follie, farm Artamentum, farm other resources and generally play a lot, then a booster can save time. So here's the short version. Finish Chains of Harrow, go to Venus and run Follie's Hunt. Understand the drops first. Follie parts are 5% each on normal, 6% on extra. Artamentum is guaranteed, 15 on normal, 25 on extra, plus extra from balloons and enemies. Farm naturally until you get as many Follie parts as possible, then buy the missing parts from Zorba. Find the 3 canvases, find paint, carry paint back with your operator or drifter. You cannot void sling while carrying paint, but you can roll. Use public squads if you want smoother runs. Don't instantly finish one canvas if you can avoid it. Get all 3 clothes and then finish them. Use Titania if you have her. Bring an AoE beam multishot or coverage weapon like Ignis Wraith. Use Loot Raider. Keep your map open. Pop Artamentum balloons. Clear red circles, hazards, Follie spawns and ink garbage instead of running around scared. That is the farm. It confused me at first. I failed with Necros, I got 4 neuroptics and still had to buy chases, but I spent around 8 hours farming Artamentum because I wanted Zorba's rewards. But once I understood the drops, the map, paint spawns, the squad advantage and the fact that I should actually clear hazards instead of ignoring them, the mission became way better. Follie is still carved in, so I'll talk about whether she's actually broken once I properly test her. For now, this was the farm. If this helped, leave a like, subscribe for more WRPE episodes, and let me know what setup you used for Follie's Hunt. Also, if you farmed the Steel Path or extra version, tell me if it's actually worth it, because 1% high drop chance doesn't sound crazy to me, but I'm maybe missing something. If you are already building Follie, tell me she's actually broken or not, or if YouTube lied to me again, because after 8 hours of farming Artamentum, she better be worth it.